baby's name is Moses. He will grow up to take down the 10 Commandments from Mount Sinai. Paramount Pictures is proud to announce the return of the greatest motion picture of all time, The 10 Commandments. What love it unveils, what drama it unfolds, what a story it tells, what majesty it encompasses. One of the greatest adventure stories ever hurled from any book. Cecil B. DeMille's The 10 Commandments in Technicolor. The original film has millions thrilled to it, all roaring to the single most spectacular scene ever filmed, the parting of the Red Sea. Cecil B. DeMille's The 10 Commandments.
Hey YouTubers, Hanksters here, and I'm going to take a little bit of break here from my G.I. Joe reviews, and we're going to be going into a little bit more something seasonal for the year, being that this week was I believe it was Passover, but I just want to do my little review on the classic blockbuster movie, one of the biggest movies of all time, The 10 Commandments, starring Charlton Heston, Edward G. Robinson, Yul Brynner, and Vincent Price, along with a stellar cast of other actors and actresses at the time. Now, of course, this was a movie adaptation of the Exodus story, of course, brought to you by the Holy Bible. And, of course, not only that, but, of course, Cecil B. DeMille, who, of course, helped create this movie, and, of course, also is featured in a little bit of an epilogue at the beginning of the film, as well as a trailer, which comes with the DVD. There's 3 trailers, and the longest one is the original trailer that was released in 1956 when the movie first came out. And then they had a second trailer, which was obviously a shorter one, which was sort of the 10-year anniversary of it. And then the 20? Oh, sheesh. Yeah, 23 years later, in 1989, when it was in theaters again. It was either in theaters or it was released on video, I'm not sure. But Cecil B. DeMille was the guy behind who brought this movie to life, and of course it was one of the biggest blockbusters of its time, with fantastic special effects. I mean, this is, I gotta remember, this is the mid-50s, way before CGI was ever even thought of, and the great, it's just, they even said, of course, that they filmed a good portion of this in the Middle East, in the Holy Land, and also can't really get away. You probably can do it these days with CGI, but they did a pretty good job of it. Now, of course, this also was based on historical accounts or historical writings, however, of ancient writers such as Philo and Josephus. So it's not just purely from, well, most of it's from the Exodus in the Bible, but there is other additions, mostly in the tales of Moses' life, the omitted 30 years of his life. They kind of start off with his finding in the bulrushes by the Egyptian princess after the Pharaoh had declared that all the firstborn shall be killed. He, of course, was saved and was brought to be raised as a Egyptian prince. Of course, then they, of course, had the interesting love story between him and an Egyptian princess, which, of course, whoever would be Pharaoh would also want to be married to the princess. Of course, Moses was in competition for the role by Ramses II. His father Seti, of course, was the current pharaoh, and of course tells the story. Of course, it gets into other players in the story, like, of course, Joshua, who, of course, we later see in the tales of the falling of Jericho and all, and other people, like, that affected and were connected to Moses' life. Now, of course, this is one of the movies that made Charlton Heston the big star that he is known for. But of course, Yul Brynner was also a big name at the time. Edward G. Robertson, of course, he starred in a lot of gangster films and all. Oddly enough, for all you Planet of the Apes fans who might not know about this, Charlton Heston, of course, would later star in the first Planet of the Apes movie. But the original choice for Dr. Zaius was going to be Edward G. Robertson. So they would be at odds with each other in this with this movie, as well as they were in the Ten Commandments. Now, of course, Edward G. Robertson in the Ten Commandments was played a character named Nathan, who was a Jewish overseer of the slaves. He, of course, had betrayed his people and sort of became an overseer so that he would get, get the benefits. He wouldn't have to be treated as a slave as much. And of course, he was the one who, in this story, he was, of course, the one who instigated the people to betray Moses and build the golden calf and all that, and all. But once again, I mean, this is not just straight. There's side stories. How Moses and Ramses were at odds with each other, even before he was found to be a Hebrew slave. How Moses was banished from Egypt and wound up in a sheep camp and fell in love with a female shepherd. And of course, leading up to his encounter with God in the burning bush. Now, of course, this basically, him arriving returning to Egypt and bringing on the 10 plagues against them to free his people. And of course, it's a very well-made story. The DVD is of course, a 2-disc set, and it is also out on Blu-ray. I think it came out on Blu-ray about a year or so ago. It's perfect for Blu-ray, by the way. Of course, I don't have a copy of it in Blu-ray, but obviously, it would be perfect for Blu-ray because of the special effects and all. I usually try to make it a tradition, either catch it on television or, usually around this time of year they air it on ABC, and the movie and all that. Of course, being that I have it on DVD, I can watch it whenever I want, but I always watch it around this time of year. Yeah, even if you're not Jewish, directly celebrate the Passover. It's a great movie to watch at this time of year. And stay tuned here. I'm going to be moving on with another seasonal DVD review. Of course, it's going to be for Easter. It's the Easter Bunnies coming to town from Rankin Bass. And stay tuned here for more reviews and whatnot here on the Multiverse. See ya.